Basketball is globally recognized by many as one of the most competitive team sport in the world. Despite the love football, rugby, cricket, and tennis get in the United Kingdom, basketball has found its way to becoming the second most played team sport in the country. Many may believe that the global popularity of the NBA has a big part to play in the recent surge of love for the game, but the UK has its very own basketball league that has been around for over 2 decades. Even with the British Basketball League having been around for a while now, the UK has not managed to keep its homegrown talent, as many move abroad to seek better opportunities. Sam Netter, the owner of Hoops Fix, one of the most popular basketball media organizations in the country, believes that the failure to keep talent in the UK is one of the biggest reasons that the sport has failed to grow in the country.
You are a talented young player, the first thing you do is try to leave the country and try to go alternative routes. You know, we have one of the highest number of players in NCAA Division 1. I'm not sure. I think Canada is probably number 1, and I think we may be number 2 or 3 in terms of international players in NCAA Division 1, because so many of our players look to leave as soon as they can, partly because of the issues that they face, you know, culturally and beyond in the UK.
Another prevalent issue in British basketball is the funding. The 2012 Olympics was hosted by London. As the host nation, the GB men's and women's team were granted a spot indefinitely. However, their failure to even make it past the group stage led to their funding being withdrawn by Sport England. Although it is now well funded by the government, Netter opines that there's a lot more problem to British basketball apart from the lack of funds.
From 2006 to 2014, I think the British Basketball Federation received over £20 million in government funding. When you ask what is there to show for that, what is the return on the investment, there's nothing to point to. So, you know, money is not the only answer. And I think that is part of the reason why the sport is not being funded anymore by UK sport specifically. That's actually just changed. We just released a podcast this morning with the chair of the BBF that announces they've just secured some funding from UK sport. Okay. But yeah, like part of the reason is that the you know, if I was a billionaire and I wanted to invest in basketball, would I give it to the federations? I don't know if I would, because they've shown no ability to be able to deliver on what these funding bodies want.
Approximately 21.3 million viewers tuned into ITV to watch England's quarter-final defeat to France in the World Cup. In a country where football receives immense love, it has become difficult for basketball to find its place. Although the BBL has seen a steady increase in social media engagement this year, it fails to get recognition from national media. Netter believes that although there are a lot of basketball fans in the country, they do not care about British Basketball League, and that is due to the lack of media coverage it has gotten over the years.
You talk about the wider visibility of the league. That's not very big, partly because it struggles to get media coverage even here. You know, in the UK, it's not just a problem exclusive to basketball, but, you know, any sport that is not football, it's very hard to get coverage with mainstream media.
NBA, America's very own basketball league, has managed to capture hearts of fans all over the world. A big reason behind that is the widened coverage it gets from local and national media. This has indefinitely led to big brands collaborating with the NBA and players signing contracts of over 200 million. The British basketball certainly has potential to reach great heights. However, Netter believes that it would only reach that by turning basketball enthusiasts in the country into fans of British basketball.
So, yeah, of course, without media coverage, there will be things that will not be maximized. So it's a huge part of it, and yeah, okay. And again, I think something that people don't really separate is that, yeah, okay, at a grassroots level, basketball is very popular. It's the second most popular team sport for 11 to 15-year-olds. But those people are not going to games. The average attendance in the BBL is about 1,000 to 2,000 people. per game. So like, you know, in the grand scheme of things, that is not a lot of people. And so, yeah, okay, you know, at a grassroots level, there's 1 million people playing per week, I think is the latest figures from Sport England. You know, there's loads of people playing it, but they're not attending games. And them not attending games and them not being a part of the professional league or supporting it financially is what hurts the economy of basketball and doesn't allow it to grow and become bigger because there's not that much money in it. So it's this weird dichotomy that you don't see often where, yeah, okay, there's loads of people playing it, but actually they don't really have an interest in British basketball or the British Basketball League. All they have an interest is in playing it and the NBA.
The British Basketball League recently received a sponsorship of $7 million from an American company, 777. This certainly is great news for British basketball, as the organization has a great reputation in working towards the growth of sports around the world. Their recent investments include Vasco da Gama and Hertha Berlin, football teams from the Brazilian and German league. The company now owns 45% stake in the league and is focused on helping out the league with better infrastructure. Even with all the investments coming in, the British Basketball Federation has lacked decisiveness, and that has led to a shortage of homegrown talent playing in the domestic league. If they work on forming a better structure within the British basketball, it certainly has the potential of being one of the best basketball nations in the world.